This afternoon, we have with us Andrew Hobbs. Andrew is a liver recipient, and he's also the creator of the Facebook group, Black Donors Matter. We welcome you, Andrew. Share your story with us.
Thank you for having me on today. My name is Andrew Hobbs, and it started out about in 2013. I started having liver issues. I started getting sick, so I, went to the doctors, and they said I had liver issues. It wasn't cancer at the time, but they referred me over to Emory University in Atlanta. So one day I went up there just on a regular checkup, and they said, "Well, no, you can't go home." And I said, "Why?" They said, "We're gonna admit you." They admitted me that day. That's the day I found out I had liver cancer. That's when I first heard about a donor list and all the things I needed to have to be able to get on the list. I didn't have any insurance. I wasn't working. I had got too sick to work, so I was in a bad situation. Um, so in the midst of all of that, I kept praying. That's the only thing I had was prayer. And that mustard seed of faith that they talk about, that's all I had. Um, so as time went on, I received chemo and the things to keep me going so the cancer wouldn't spread. And one day they called me. I made the list. They called me. I got my transplant on September the 5th, 2014. It's been 9 years. I never had a rejection. And I'm doing well at this time. Um, I created Black Donors Matter, and, as a grateful liver transplant recipient, and I embarked on a journey to create Black Donors Matter. It was driven by the profound realization that Black individuals both need and deserve equitable access to life-saving organs. This initiative was born out of my own experience and the pressing need to address the lack of representation in the organ donor pool. At the heart of Black Donors Matter is a Facebook group. We're a supportive Facebook group which flourished to over 600 members and counting. Within this community, we're compassionate individuals that share our personal stories, triumphs, and resources related to organ donation. It's a space where camaraderie thrives, where successes are celebrated, and where mutual support is extended to those navigating the complexities of organ transplantation within the Black community. That's why I created Black Donors Matter Facebook group.
Well, thank you so very much, Andrew. Was your person was a living donor?
No, it was a deceased donor.
You were able to get the entire liver because
Yeah,
the liver is something that can regenerate, from what I understand. You can get just a piece, and I
yes.
wonder if that will do the same thing as far as transplantation.
With the cancer, you can't get a piece. Only when you have other things like other situations where the liver can be cut and you can get just a little piece, it'll grow to a whole liver. I don't know how it works, but it will grow to a whole useful liver just from a little piece of someone else's liver.
I am familiar with the story of Brianna. Tell us a little bit about that. And meeting your
Um,
donor family.
yes, I at first I received a letter in the mail. Just you can't put a name on it. You can't give any real information, just basic information about the person who organ you received. So at first I was just amazed about someone writing and telling me about a person that I didn't know that passed away so I could live. So it was a very hurtful like feeling to know that someone passed away even though I'm well, it still felt like I lost to me. And I didn't even know her. I just felt for her. So over time, I received another letter and said, "Do you want to meet your donor?" And I said yes. And we met over at Grady in Atlanta in a room just set up for us, a whole little thing they put together. And it was a very happy moment in my life to meet Sadria and her family. And ever since we've been close, we talk, we share, we just get along like real family.
I don't think I've ever questioned, no, I haven't. I haven't ever questioned anyone who's a recipient of a liver. What is the healing time and process? What is that like for the recipient?
With me, it was about, I say about a month of healing. Really got to learn how to walk again. I had probably almost 200 staples for the first month, about 30 days, and then they cut them out. But for me, it was about a month where I could get around and start walking again and feeling better. I instantly felt better the first day. I could tell I had a liver the first day. Um, it was a trying little time. It wasn't too hard.
Hi, Andrew. My name is Lily Bradley. What is the name of your organization? Again, I did not catch all of it. And how do you find out more about your organization?
It's Black Donors Matter on Facebook. Just go in and request to be in the group, and I'll put you in there. It's where we share stories, share information, get to know each other, just create a positive community for people within the transplant community.
Okay. When do you meet at a certain time? Do you meet during a weekday or once a month or?
Well, I never had a meeting now of the people, which that's something I would like to do. But so far, I have not had a meeting of group members as of now.
Mm-hmm. Reason why I ask because Georgia Transplant Foundation, we have called a support group, and we meet once a month, and that's like on a Thursday at 7:00. And I just wonder, you have something like that. But right now, you say haven't started anything like a support group. Mm-hmm.
No, ma'am. I'm in Georgia Transplant too support group. So yeah, I do. Okay. I'll be in there. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, good. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
I got a question. Hey, Andrew, how you doing?
What's up, Tony?
Not much. Hey, everybody else. I know you all. But one thing that you have that a lot of us don't have is the opportunity to meet your donor family, which I think is definitely a blessing. I mean, I love Sadria. So just how does that make you feel? I mean, I know it's been a while, knowing especially her granddaughters, Brianna's kids for that matter. Share some of that, like the relationship that y'all have.
Me and Sadria, from the beginning, I was apprehensive about meeting her because I thought, I don't know why, but I just thought that she would have some kind of anger toward me, like I got the liver and her daughter's gone. It was just something inside of me that felt like that. But when I met her, she has the most positive attitude I ever seen, and you know this, just the way she radiates and her smile and the positivity that comes off of her when she speaks. She made me feel so comfortable with receiving that organ. She said I deserved it. It was mine. What God had, God's plan was, it was fulfilled, and that liver was supposed to be for me. Even though her daughter had to go, she made me feel like I deserved everything I got. And so the love I have for her and the babies and the family is just out the roof. They might as well be my family. I'll do anything for them.
And I think that gives us a little more information why you feel like you were not worthy of the gift. But now that feeling has changed, huh?
Yeah, it really has. I know I deserve it, and that's why I created this group. That's why I volunteer. to help, raise awareness, especially in the Black community, for donation, and just create that love that it takes for someone to be a living donor, or even to have a family member be an organ donor. It takes a certain amount of love and care for other people, and that's what I try to create through my group and through my life.
Another reason that Black donors matter, for me, the reason is because over the decades or so, they're finding out that people of color do better with transplants sometimes if those transplants are from people of color. So
Yeah.
that's a primary reason why Black donors truly do matter, and we don't have nearly enough as we need.
I have a question. I noticed that the name of your organization is Black Donors Matter.
Yeah.
Have you received any concerns from other OBOs in your area with the fact that you're saying Black donors? I
Yeah.
appreciate what George has said. Are they not there? They wouldn't dare say change your name, but certainly it appears as though they want to make it be inclusive. And I too share a concern that it should not matter what the name of your organization is, especially if you have determined that this is where you want to put your emphasis, in my opinion. Um, and there is a need. I'll be honest with you. I was a caregiver for the organizer of our organization, and the first time I heard anything about a transplant, anything, well, when they were sitting there telling my friend that she, basically was in good health and she would possibly get to the top of the list and this would help her. I'm in the background inside my head going, yes, yes, we're going forward. And of course, she's sitting there asking 1,001 questions. My thing was this: what's the backdrop from it? But again, I had no knowledge, and I consider myself a very, very learned woman about a whole lot of things. And so I just want to encourage you, as well as Ms. Brill and any others out there that might want to say we're going to target the Black folks or the African American community to to forge ahead in what it is you have to do, and not succumb to general titles to do what you're trying to do. And that you answered my question. So now, how have you dealt with that?
I have had, cause for real, it's more white people in my group than Black people in Black Donors
Okay.
Matter.
Okay.
I have had people come in my inbox and ask me specifically about why does any other race matter, and I know they was referring to the point that I had Black Donors Matter, and I
Mm,
explained to them that it was not about Black or white, because when it comes down to it, more white people, at a significant more number of white people, be donors than Black people. So that it's not about that. It was about and encouraging African Americans to become donors at a more better rate. It wasn't about color per se, about the person who's donating. It was more about having African Americans be um more of a participators in the organ donation space, and sharing and being more compassionate toward donation.
And I'd like to piggyback off of that. And a lot of us are big volunteers, and we go out and try to bring awareness to organ donation. Our people, and I'm gonna be as blunt as I can, are not willing to do it. They have every excuse in the world not to become donors. I myself don't have a Black donor. I have a white donor. I've actually been in rejection 2 or 3 times. I'm in rejection now. If let the doctors tell it. And they even told me the average lifespan of my transplant will be 8 years. And I'm at 8 years and 4 months. So I believe that saying that the Black donors matter really means something, because we need a platform. We need to let people know that your giving is not in vain. Everyone I know that has received the gift really appreciate it from the bottom of their heart and from what God, because really this gift is from God. But some of the stories that I hear, like I don't want to be a donor because someone may take my organ, or I heard a pastor tell me one time that he was saving his organs for his family, and I'm like, well, how do you know your family's going to get sick? So I think the more awareness we bring to the Black community, African American community, the better off, because a lot of people go to be with the Lord and they think that they have to take their organs with them. And a lot of us who are here are the ones who will suffer. And not only that, the list goes by, and this is unfortunate, how many donors are on there. And we are the least on there as far as donors, but we need the organs more than anyone. So, I mean, I applaud Andrew. I'm still waiting on a T-shirt. Okay. But I think it definitely needs to be done. And I don't, our counterparts, the Caucasians or whatever, they don't have a problem with it, because they know for a fact that we are not on that list. The doctors will tell us that we're the last ones on there. So it's a fact. It's not a myth. It's a fact. So saying that Black donors matter really is a powerful statement, and I hope that it is able to take off and even become national, because like when Roxanne was on here, there are some states that they have no problem. Up north, you become an organ donor naturally, but in the South, totally different world, whole different world.
And I want to bring up another issue that I just recently ran into concerning medication for organ donors, organ transplant recipients. I ran into an issue. I have insurance and everything. The insurance companies are starting to deny some of the rejection medications and things like that, to where I was off of my medication for about 3 days, fighting with the insurance company back and forth. This just happened. So I want anybody who, in that, to understand that it's sometimes, here recently, there have been issues coming up with the medication and insurance companies paying for them.
Okay, a whole lot has been said. Tony, I was totally confused when you said we're last on a list. What list is this?
We're the least of the donors, of the donor pool. The donor pool is not full of African Americans. It's more Caucasian.
Okay.
That's what I meant by that.
So you're saying deceased donors, or, I mean, it doesn't matter, deceased or living donors.
Donors, period.
Okay, maybe you might phrase that as saying we are the lowest number of deceased donors or living donors, because there's no specific list of deceased or living donors. There are fewer of us, absolutely, which is why Andrew's Black Donors Matter is an important group. And then, Andrew, you're saying that you went 3 days without your transplant meds because you of what now?
It was too expensive for me to pay out of pocket, and my insurance company, you know how you have to go through a prior authorization sometimes when they deny the medication. And so the prior authorization, which I blame Emory, I say that too. The department in Emory would transfer the information to the insurance company. They dropped the ball also. And so with the lack of communication between those two entities, I missed medication.
How long had you had your transplant?
9 years.
at that point, you had your transplant for 9 years.
This was last week.
Oh, okay. So another thing, do you get a 90-day or a 30-day refill?
I get 90-day now. Now I get
Okay.
90 days. At the time, I was getting one by one because they wouldn't do the 90 days. Because I'm back up,
So
I'm working now. So my insurance is different than it was when I was with disability. So my,
when I'm sorry.
Go
So
ahead.
when that happened, you were on a 30-day refill.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. In the future, if and this is for any other recipient, if this ever happens again, the first thing you want to do is call your transplant people. If you're still part of a transplant program, which most of us are not because of longevity, but if you go see a kidney doctor, a nephrologist, or whatever type of doctor you're seeing, then you want to call them right away. Say, hey, because now the same thing happened to me, and my doctor told me when I went to the hospital here for gout, they withheld my medicine for 2.5 days, and I thought they were going to put me up in the insane asylum because I was raising so much hell they could hear me down the hall. And finally, they gave me my medicine. But my kidney doctor told me, one that I'd had for almost 25 years, he told me, George, you could go into rejection just in that short period of time. And all rejections cannot be reversed. I know Tony said his doctors think he's in rejection. Well, we're just going to say, no, you're not. Okay. But yeah, it doesn't take but a couple of days off your medicine. So my doctor told me if you go back in the hospital, especially up here, take all your pills with you and dare them to take them away. The only thing they can do is tell you to leave. And I'll get a ride to DC 2.5 hours away and go back down to where they got some sense. But that's interesting that your pharmacy had been filling a prescription for 9 years, and suddenly the insurance doesn't want to pay for it. That's
no,
unusual.
I switched. See, I started working, so I went from disability, which is no problem with that, to a job.
Right.
Now I'm under their insurance policy, and it's different. And so it became an issue. So I went up to Emory. I was in Atlanta anyway. I went into the doctor's office and clinic up there, and I took care of it. I talked to the pharmacist. We took care of it in 1 day. But I think it seems like you get lost in the calling up there to I talk to them all the time. I still do blood work and everything every 3 months. So you have to go there sometimes and make your point in their face, because if you get lost in the translation of messages between the pharmacy and the doctor's office sometimes.
I agree. Make sure you get names of everybody you talk to. Just like that story that I think Shirley forwarded to me, that he had a heart transplant and lost it because he got locked up and they wouldn't give him his medication.
Right.
So we absolutely positively have to take it. And the doctors, the pharmacists, they know this. They know how critical I'm. What are you taking for your liver?
Tacrolimus, Prograf. I'm still on 4 milligrams.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Okay. Okay. Well, if you have no side effects or anything, you're doing good. You look good. So, but that struck me when you said that. You would think that every doctor in the country having any knowledge of transplantation, the word transplantation, they would understand that we have to have our medication. And yeah, whenever we change jobs, for anyone else that might be working or whatever, you want to make sure that job's insurance will cover your medication before you take the job. because unless you can stay on Medicaid or Medicare or have a Obamacare insurance or some other state insurance, we can't go 2-3 days while insurance companies go back and forth about having to pay for an expensive medication. So yeah, if that ever happens again, or anyone else on the call, make sure that a new job that you may be taking, make sure that their insurance will cover your transplant.
Yeah,
That's
that's
it for
why
me.
I dropped the ball because I accepted the job, and now I've learned the insurance policy is not that well. So, but it worked out now, and hopefully moving forward, that no more issues come about.
EMAT appreciates you, and we hope that you'll join us next week.